Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So years ago, probably 3 years ago now, one of the first videos I ever did was a video about toilet paper tablets. And that video was showing these compressed towels, which I think are an excellent substitution for toilet paper in the backcountry. So that original video I did, the quality wasn't that good. So I thought I would do another video on it. And hopefully this is the first video that people see who are exposed to this concept. Now the reasoning is simple. Everybody, no matter who you are in the world, everybody's got to go number 2 at some point. And when you're packing a bug out bag or just a hiking pack, space is always a factor. Especially with toilet paper. Toilet paper is one of those things where it's rather large and cumbersome to just carry like this. Now there are things you can do. You can compress it. You can vacuum seal it, you can take the inner tube out, and you can compress it down like that. But regardless, it's still this big honking thing. So the solution then is, how can you get this into something that is around this size? And it's very simple, and it's compressed towels. Now the main difference between toilet paper and compressed towels is that toilet paper is dry, these are going to be wet. So that in itself is going to improve your ability to be hygienic out there in the field. So you can get a box of these things. This is a 500 box of Wizzy wipes. I think this was about 30-40 bucks. And you even get a little container that you can use. The container would appear has about 14 of those tablets. Now what I've found, having used these often in the bush to deal with those notorious number 2s, if I'm regular, I can get away with just using one, and I can do it in a way that's very hygienic. I'm not going to give you any more details, but let's see how this works. So all I have to do is I dunk it in water, not even for a half second, and instantly it starts to expand. The more water you have on it, the better, of course, but that's all it takes. And what you get is a very strong towel. The wetter it is, obviously the more hygienic it's going to be. Now these things are made from 100% pure cellulose. Fragrance free, no added chemicals, hypoallergenic, and reusable. Well, you know, certainly not if you're using it for a number 2. Absorbent and amazingly soft. They are quite soft. They feel quite good. So it's a really good product. And indeed, it is biodegradable, so if you do have to dispose of it out in nature, it's not going to be there in a few years. Because it's so strong, that means you can maneuver with it in different ways. So, like I said, if you're regular, one of these should do the trick. If you're not, you might need 2, hell, maybe 3 or 4 if you find yourself eating a lot of that mountain house food out in the backcountry. You can also use these Coghlan's match containers, and they fit perfectly in there. I think it fits about 7 or 8. But you need to get these Wizzy wipes. That's the brand that is going to fit into these containers. These are watertight containers. And you can just shove them in there like that. And basically, if you're regular and you're doing your thing once a day, then you could potentially have enough toilet paper for a week in this nice little compressed waterproof package. Doesn't get any better than that. You take your water bottle in one of these, it's going to be a lot more hygienic than just using dry paper. Now, of course, the longer you hold it in there, the better. It's going to immediately expand when you just leave it in there. And it's going to absorb a lot of water. But you can wring it out. And you can't do this with toilet paper. Toilet paper would just immediately fall apart, no matter how many ply. This you can do this with. This really is a compressed towel. Now obviously there's other things you can use these for. You could probably even use that for water filtration to some degree. It would filter out the larger particulate matter as a pre-filter. Obviously it's not going to be sufficient to filter water itself. You're still going to want to boil it or use your tablets or water filter system or whatever, but would be a great pre-filter system. And like I say, it's pretty strong. It's going to rip eventually, but even like when I bind it up like that, it's impossible to rip. So, but it will tear at some point. There'll be a point of failure right there. But that's pretty good for paper towel. So I'm going to post a link to these in the description. I really hope this fad catches on. I'm surprised that it hasn't yet, because this really would be a hiker's best friend. And somebody someday is going to get the bright idea to sell these as is with the tabs inside, and it's going to take off because it really is a great idea. And I've used these for years out in the bush, and I can guarantee that they're much more effective at cleaning your backside than normal toilet paper is going to be. So check out the Wizzy wipes. I think the best deal is probably to get the 500. I'll post a link to that in the description. Another thing to consider is that when it comes to prepper storage, in order to store the equivalent of this amount of toilet paper would require a lot of space. This contains 500 compressed towels, which is probably the equivalent of many rolls of toilet paper. But this will end up saving you a lot of space, and they're far more versatile than toilet paper. It can be used to wipe things down. It could be used maybe even as like a bandage. It's strong enough that it's not gonna tear on you. So you can use it in all the ways that you would use a paper towel. You could even use it to clean yourself. A lot of things that you can't do with toilet paper. And I have absolutely no affiliation with this company whatsoever. But trust me, you won't be disappointed when you put a few of these in your bug out bag or your hiking pack. And you have to squat and do the inevitable. But one thing I would recommend is before you do that, when you're getting all into position, make sure that you have one or two of these things already expanded and ready to go, because otherwise it could make for quite the balancing act. Alright guys, so thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and feel free to get some of these Wizzy wipes through the link in the description. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.